After the embarrassment that were poker nights, here's something actually decent. We're reviewing the Gadget archetype also used by Yugi Moto in the final ceremonial duel of the anime, and they're actually pretty good for their time period. They were actually based on unique consistency building, which is one of the reasons why one of the most popular cards is on the ban list right now, which we'll get into later. But anyway, let's actually get started with them with their first three monsters, those being green, red, and yellow Gadget. All of their effects trigger when they're normal or special summoned. Green Gadget allows you to add red Gadget to from your deck to your hand, red Gadget allows you to add a yellow Gadget, and yellow Gadget allows you to add a green Gadget. Now, the idea behind these was to revolve circling around adding constantly monsters to your hand with the help of a good old trap card known as Ultimate Offering, which, for the price of 500 life points, offered you a free normal summon or set during your main phase or your opponent's battle phase. And yeah, they were pretty kick-ass with the Ultimate Offering still around, and when it got hit, well, one of the reasons why Ultimate Offering got hit on the ban list, they're consistently drastically worsened since they had to wait a turn until they can perform another search once again. But thanks to the most recent Dark Side of the Dimensions movie pack promo support and some link support, they actually became another successful consistency engine for many machine decks. Next up, we have the pair of Gold Gadget and Silver Gadget, both from the Dark Side of the Dimensions movie pack. Alright, both of them have the effect when they're normal or special summoned that you can special summon one level 4 machine monster from your hand. And if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon a level 4 Gadget monster from your deck except the Gadget that destroys. This effect is shared between both Gold Gadget and Silver Gadget, and you can only use one Gold Gadget effect per turn and only once that turn, and that also applies for Silver Gadget. So no, you cannot infinitely swarm the field with Gold and Silver Gadget if you have multiples of them in your hand. And the end phase floating effect, it's actually advised to go into one of the first three monsters in the archetype if you do not have another copy of Gold or Silver Gadget in the hand, if the set floating should happen. So yes, Gold and Silver Gadget are definite 3-offs in the deck, and while the first three are usually ran at 2 in every deck that should ever consider running them, you cannot go wrong with 3. Alright, before moving on to the good stuff, we have their final main deck monster, that being Boot Up Soldier Dread Dynamo. Okay, it's a machine with 0 attack and 2000 defense, and while you control a Gadget monster, this card gains 2000 attack. I mean, if you play the so-called Gadget beatdown, you could probably take this at 1 max, but I'm one of those good players and I suggest running limiter removal instead of this any day. Yeah, I mean, it is a machine dupe target, and yeah, just no. Just run limiter removal instead of this. Alright, their extra deck monster and their final monster is Platinum Gadget. It's a link 2, arrows pointing bottom left and bottom right. Requires 2 machine monsters, has 1600 attack, and cannot be used as link material the turn it is link summoned. During your main phase, you can special summon one level 4 or lower machine monster from your hand to your zone this card points to. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon one level 4 Gadget monster from your deck. You can only use this effect of Platinum Gadget once per turn. Can you guess the most annoying part of this card's effect? Yep, it's the fact that you cannot use this card as link material the turn you link summon it. I don't know who thought that this was a good idea, but this drastically drags down the quality of this card. It could have been so much better if it just didn't have that first effect. And if you're confused why it has the level 4 gadget monster from your deck part of the effect, since, you know, all of their gadget monsters are strictly level 4, specifically, well, they wanted to avoid confusion with Gadget Driver and Gadget Arms from the Morphtronic archetype, which are level 1 and level 2 monsters. So yeah, as for this thing, you definitely want to max out on this because it's one of the best consistency boosting cards for machine decks in, well, basically any machine deck, not just gadgets. Gadgets is something that live and die by these things, so yeah, always max out on this. 2 can be perfectly acceptable if you think 3 is a bit too cloggy and if your extra deck space is a bit too tight. They have no spell cards, so moving on to their trap cards. First up we have Stronghold the Moving Fortress, a continuous trap. It's a trap monster that special summons itself to defense position, has 0 attack and 2000 defense, level 4 machine earth monster. And if you control green, red and yellow gadget, this card gains 3000 attack. My friend, this was a tolerable card back in the Middle Ages, but I'm just gonna say, if you don't run Dread Dynamo, then you certainly as hell ain't running this thing. And their final card is another piece of support from the Dark Side of Dimensions, that being Metal Hold the Moving Blockade. Another trap monster, and activate this card by targeting any number of level 4 machine type monsters you control. Special summon this card as an effect monster, machine type earth, level 4, attack 0 and defense 0. Then equip those face up monsters to this card. This card is also still a trap card. If this card is summoned this way, this card gains attack equal to the combined attack of all the monsters equipped to it by this card's effect. And the opponent cannot target other monsters except this one for attacks or card effects. So basically, it's Stronghold with more attack and protection. I mean, it's still better than Stronghold, but is it really worth it? I mean, you can use it on one monster, so you can just have one extra link material, so there's that, but anyway, I wouldn't recommend it. Now for the grades. Well, this is going to be a bit tricky because gadgets are most often used as an engine instead of an archetype of its own, where it functions on its own perfectly without any type of third-party support to keep those cogs going. The gadgets are most of the time the third-party support in some machine decks. So let's actually try to be precise with these. Okay, the consistency gets a solid, very solid 3 out of 3 because it's unique and it works. And gold gadget and silver gadgets are ran in 3s in basically any machine deck imaginable, that being gimmick puppets, mech lords, any basically machine deck that can benefit from their easy, accessible consistency building. Power gets a 1 out of 3 because none of their relevant monsters exceed 2000 attack points. Convec ability usually depends on top decking gold or silver gadget and setting it in passing, which is not the most optimal thing to do. Soul charge is banned, so 1 out of 3. Protection exists in the form of Metal Hold, that speaks for itself, and it's a 1 out of 3. And of course versatility gets a 3 out of 3 because gadgets are basically run in basically any machine deck imaginable, like I said. They're the reason why Ultimate Offering got banned, and they were one of the better Machine XC's turbo builds out there when Offering was still around. So yeah, they're a very nice archetype. Now, will they get more support? Well, I don't doubt that for a second because they're nostalgia pandering with some other archetypes as well. So we'll just have to wait and see. And anyway, that is it for another archetype analysis. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more vids, bookings, and updates. Comment, like, and subscribe. And as usual, I'll upload the next vid whenever I can. See you all, have a good day, and peace.